What's going on, guys? My name is Juan Vega. You guys might have seen me before in videos. So I'm doing a little vlog right now, and this vlog is a little different. I would like to call it my testimony and my story. So, like I said, most of you have probably seen me on social media, websites, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Trying to get into social media, I feel like that really makes me happy. I feel like fitness, boxing, and all these different like community-based activities really fulfill me. And before I tell you my story, I want you to check out this view. Beautiful lake. I was actually having a coffee in there, doing a little bit of journaling here. So I am 22 years old. I was born and raised in Ecuador until I was about 13 years old. My whole life I was living with my parents. Actually, no, I was living with my mom and dad until I was 3 years old. They got divorced. I kept living with my mom and my grandma. I was still seeing my dad on the weekends, and to be honest, I became more like in touch with my mom because she was kind of like more on my side, but I still had deep love for my dad. After that, I moved to the US literally when my mom met someone that was able to bring her over to the US, and I came along 13. I remember I was in 8th grade when I first came here to Florida. And I was actually, I remember coming from a third world country to America. I was like it was a crazy transition for me because first of all, I was very new to it was completely new, this whole new environment. I was surrounded by, people that spoke a different language than me, spoke Spanish. Spanish is my main language. And yeah, I didn't have friends for the first year. I kind of felt like I didn't fit in. So I tried to force fitting in. Crowd. I forced, becoming something that I wasn't. I had multiple friend groups, multiple, relationships, and yeah, everything felt like it was forced rather than like meant to be. And yeah, I got into bad steps at first. 8th grade, I was, more chill, shy. I was a smaller kid in my class. I would say the smallest, probably. People used to pick on me. I know a lot of you guys probably have experienced bullying and stuff. Nothing crazy for me, but, they I wasn't really fluent in English, and also, yeah, I remember my...
Oh, boom! Yeah, I know, that's the funny part. You're in the back.
And I was just like the smaller one in my class. Literally looked like a baby. So after that, freshman year, I started, becoming more outgoing. I kind of felt like I fit in somewhere. And just transitioning from a shy kid, I became a wild man, running around, doing all sorts of activities, shady activities. And I got into bad habits, bad influences. But I was the one that let myself get influenced. I was the one that took this series of choices that led me where I was. And to be honest, I do not regret any of that. I'm not encouraging any of you guys to follow the steps I did because it is a life lesson and I've learned from all these things. So if I can kind of like help you understand a few things, a few mistakes that I've made, hopefully, you know, it skips you and saves you some time and helps you reconnect with your true self, your purpose, your calling. So yeah, I started smoking a lot of weed. I was addicted almost. I was addicted, weed, nicotine, and I was on and off, you know. I was on and off with it. Then I became really like lustful with women. I was running around, sleeping with almost every woman. They used to, you know, come up to me, they used to call me pretty boy in high school. So in middle school, I was like a nobody. High school, I started kind of creating this like false image of myself, like, okay, kind of getting like the ego to get to my head a little bit. At the time, I actually found something that changed my life, and that was boxing.
I'm not. You definitely did. That's how you got
I know.
He told me I'm just chilling. I like it. Come here.
I use boxing as a way to channel my emotions and tune in with something that I didn't see at the time. But boxing really helped me translate normal things into like more like a metaphoric, perhaps to say like metaphoric way of translating life. Everything about boxing, I love that it was so structured. Unlike any other martial arts, boxing was just about throwing punches. Boxing was just about covering up and keep throwing punches while moving forward. Like Rocky Balboa, don't get hit, move forward. Yeah, like life throws a lot of punches at you. And even Muhammad Ali said, you don't lose if you get knocked down, you lose if you stay down. And that's one of his quotes that at the time resonated with me. Because yeah, life will throw you down to the floor, and I fell so many times. But it's all about getting back up. It's about standing back up, understanding why you fell down, what's going on, why did you fall down? Was it you? Was it other people? And then the beauty in falling and failing is that once you get back up, you become something, you groom that version of yourself that you never saw. And there's beauty in failure because you will get back up stronger than ever. Like, I love this verse, Isaiah 40:31. It goes, "For those who believe in the Lord will renew their strength. They'll soar wings like eagles. They'll run and not grow weary. They'll walk and will not faint." So yeah, I've lost my strength so many times. I failed so many times. I got back up, and I'm still not where I want to be, guys. I'm not Mr. Perfect. I'm not, I'm not where I want to be yet. But in your mind, you gotta become that version of yourself that you want to be. Once you become in your mind, you gotta be, and then it comes. So you become. And first you gotta have that, like, feel the emotion. What is that burning desire inside of you that lights you up? What is that true calling that you feel like makes you move? Not what people tell you to do, not that college degree, not that thing that you need to do for money. Stop thinking about money for once. Just think of what really makes you happy. Put it that simple. Is it fitness? Is it lifestyle? Is it helping others, healing, doctor, nurse, whatever it is? Just find that thing that sparks something in you and just go for it. People would try to like put doubt on you, and you plant these little seeds, You know, humans are imperfect by nature. And even your own parents, even your friends, your close ones, they will try to, you know, bring you down, not intentionally, but just because they follow this structure of rules that they think it's what's going to help you best. And they do it with pure intentions and love, but sometimes you just got to listen to yourself. No one knows you better than yourself and God. So as long as you have that faith and you truly let go and believe in the things that you believe in, I promise you guys the money will come followed. So you just need to truly lock in and believe. Keep doing that thing that moves you. So after high school, I kind of stopped boxing. I transitioned more into powerlifting, strength training. I really like lifting heavy stuff. Not really bodybuilding, even though I think aesthetics are cool. Like, I kind of like the balance of like aesthetics, strength, boxing. Those three, I feel like there's, a lot in that. So, yeah, I kind of got more into like powerlifting. I've wanted to compete, and even boxing. I wanted to compete and I never did it. But yeah, I got into all these different jobs, just to try to make money. I got into sales jobs, and I actually got pretty good at sales. Door-to-door sales, call centers, cold calling. I even got bit by a dog one time doing like this door-to-door sales, like right here on my chest. This one dog bit me. Shout out my boy Fisher. But yeah, I got bit, and yeah, it was such a learning experience going through all these jobs. And I could never really keep a job for more than 3-6 months. I was hopping from job to job. I didn't know why. I was kind of like avoiding confrontation too. Like, I wouldn't tell my managers like, hey, I gotta, I want to quit. I would tell them just like, I just avoid the confrontation, try to just ignore it. And yeah, I would just hop from job to job. I didn't really understand. But I knew that there was something about fitness that I enjoyed and I liked. So I just kept trying until I got into this job that changed my life. This one job that I never expected to get in. This job that was just like something. Okay, before I tell you guys this, part of my story as a teenager, I also struggled with a lot of things, insecurities. Being the smaller one in my class, being the skinniest one. I also suffer from really bad acne, not only on my face, which has cleared out a little, but my body. Like, I used to have, my whole back was covered. I'm gonna put a picture here so you guys see. This is what my back used to look like, and this is what it looks like now. So it was really a struggle. Like, imagine having a good body, a pretty good body, defined, lean, and you're like afraid to take off your shirt at a pool. Like, you just don't feel as like secure about yourself. I know that we all have insecurities, and we all have something that maybe we don't like truly about ourselves, but it's really just a mask. And once you understand that the power and the true confidence comes from within, all these things, once they go away, you'll realize they're just part of your blueprint, part of your story. It's just making you more confident, and you don't see it yet. But embrace those things, even if they don't go away just yet. Just know that you have a purpose, and even if you don't like the person that you're looking in the mirror right now, that person looking back at you loves you. So after that, yeah, so I was saying this one job changed my life. I got into this like night job. It was like a nightclub. The schedule, first of all, was really upside down. It was not your regular 9 to 5. It was more like a 9 to 3, 9 p.m. to 3 in the morning, regular nightclub schedule, graveyard shift. And yeah, at first I was making a lot of money at the job. Bands, fast cash, dopamine. I was like, almost like, you know, got so stuck into the lifestyle to the point where I didn't really care about like my health, perhaps my mental health, even my physical health. Because guys, one thing is looking healthy. You can look healthy, and another thing is actually being healthy, wealthy. Yeah, I didn't really see it yet, and I just, I would wake up, go to bed 5, 6 in the morning, wake up even like 3, 4, 5 p.m. Probably the latest I woke up was like 6 p.m. and go to bed like 11, which was insane. So my schedule was completely upside down, completely flipped. And I just knew that something wasn't right. I was kind of like getting towards this depressive state. On top of that, a lot of things have changed in my life. I've always been the only child. I do have this little sister of mine. She wasn't born through my mom, but my dad, he met someone, and now she's my sister, like my half sister, but she is my sister. And she, it's a blessing having a sibling. She's beautiful, and she was actually born with this thing where she's not able to walk. So she is in treatment. She's had a lot of leg surgery, hip surgery, casts, all these things for her legs to straighten up. And she is in the process of walking, and she is gonna walk. But it's been definitely a journey, especially for my dad. He lives in Chile now, my dad with my sister. I live in Florida, Tampa. And yeah, I feel like most of these things that I do go down to God and me fulfilling a purpose, especially for her. It's funny and almost like ironic, because imagine having 22-year-old son, strong, really not obviously the strongest, but perhaps above average strength, and then a sister that cannot walk at 4 years old. She doesn't understand it yet. So I think we all have a mission, and we all have our why. Find your why. What do you want to fight for? Why are you fighting? Is it for you? Is it for others? Is it for your family? For your siblings? For your dad? For your parents? I know we all have a why. So you need to find that why. And then, yeah, so I was kind of getting into this dark box of, depressive state. So, my sister is something that I've handled, but my grandfather, he passed away about 4 months ago. And like I said, guys, when I was in high school, I was smoking a lot. And it was something on and off, but it's either I'm going 100 miles an hour one way, or I'm going 100 miles an hour the opposite way. It's been hard for me to find a balance. So yeah, this all kind of hit at once. I was on and off with smoking. I took this trip to Ecuador to see family, and it was cool because I reconnected with my inner child. I was in the place where I was raised. There's this one farm called Guayabamba, and that was where I make most of my memories, where I made a lot of good stories, good memories, and that place is just nostalgic, It reminds me of a nostalgic purpose. So I went to Ecuador for 2 weeks, and I saw my family from mom's side and from dad's side, and I saw my grandma dwelling with the loss. How to obviously comfort her, make her feel better. And we went to this place, Guayabamba, the farm, and it was just such a different feeling, because that's where my grandma and my grandpa would always be. Just seeing them, seeing my grandma, seeing this place without my grandpa, it just felt super empty. It felt like something was missing. something was missing, and I didn't know what it was. Obviously, it was him, but it was something else. It was something that kind of clicked. It just made me like, wow. It made me realize a lot of things. When I came back, I got back into the night job. So it was cool having this little vacation, gave me a little breather, and kind of reminded me of my purpose again, of who I was, first of all. Not my purpose, but it reminded me of who I was. Who is Juan Vega? This is your childhood. This is where you came from. So I came back, got back on the job. I was working, and I was like, okay, whatever. I'm dealing with it. Got into the gym, same routine. Kind of like a little reset, nothing crazy. And once again, I started smoking. Got into smoking, and that's when everything kind of like hit at once, like a bomb. And after that, there was this one night where I walked inside of the job, and I couldn't. The environment was just too much to handle. It was too much, and this time it wasn't a feeling, an emotion of anger or sadness, really. It was more like an emotion of like wanting to run away, wanting to just get out of there, like leave. I want to leave, I said. And something in me just told me, hey, you need to go. Not in the sense of fear. It was kind of fear, but it was also like sense of like just need to run. And I took off, hopped in my car, and as soon as I started driving away, everything is almost like a weight off my shoulders came off, and I felt so liberated. Like words can't even express how I felt. I felt like a complete restart. Like my soul like took off. And then, yeah, after that, I just felt so relieved. I felt like, wow, God had a plan for me. I closed this door and millions opened. And I know in my head I was like, okay, I need this job because it's making me money. It's literally a lot of money. It's fast cash. And also, how am I gonna pay my rent? How am I gonna pay my car? How am I gonna buy groceries? Because I'm living currently with a roommate. And yeah, honestly, I didn't know how I was gonna do all these things. I didn't know how I was gonna do all these things. And to be honest, yeah, I was scared. It was scary. Having that leap of faith and that jump, crossing that bridge is gonna be always scary. And for once, I was like, you know what? I don't know the outcome, and I don't really care about the outcome this time. Let me just live in the present. First time in my life. Let me live in the present, see what happens. I didn't know. I didn't have a job. I didn't have enough money to even pay my rent. Rent was almost due. Car payment was almost due. All these things, and you would think, how am I gonna figure this out? There's something that you cannot figure out. I'm telling you, if you start writing things down, how am I gonna pay this? There's no job. You're not gonna figure it out. You're not. And you're just gonna keep repeating the same pattern over and over and over until you hit rock bottom, and you either level up or you die. That's it. So for once, I said, let me just close this door blindly and just keep moving forward, see what happens. And yeah, that was the best decision of my life. The best decision of my life. That's deep, really deep. I wouldn't just say this to say it, but I'm in this place mentally, physically, emotionally where I've never been in my 22 years of existence. There's like spiritual bliss. And at first I was just like, okay, what is going on? How is this happening? Like, how does this make sense? And at first I was trying to find different ways of like how to figure it out. But you don't need to figure it out. You don't need to know everything. You just need to understand that you have a purpose. And if you have that feeling of bliss, or you're starting to feel it, just know that that's your calling. That's the thing you need to fulfill. And I went to church with my girlfriend. You know, I got more in touch with the Word of God, with Jesus. My mom would always try to drag me to church when I was a teenager, and I didn't really listen to her. And she would tell me all these things like, yeah, you have a purpose, God, you know, everything's meant to be. Like, you probably heard all these things, like things happens for a reason, this and that, you know. But as cheesy as it might sound, and I didn't understand it before, this is so real, guys. This is really true. And it's just a matter of faith. Nothing will move unless you do. And you just need the smallest amount of faith. That's it. I don't ask for anything else. Just the tiniest bit of faith. So, yeah. I have been getting closer to God. I'm actually bought this if you guys want to check it out. Or anything, to be honest. Just as long as you pick up the Bible book. 5-minute Bible study for men. There's one for women. I also, whatever it is, podcasts, YouTube, anything that explains the Word of God, talking about Jesus. If you read it, you try to like take it in, even if you don't fully understand it. As long as you have faith and believe it. And faith doesn't only mean like believing the Word of God. It also means like believing in yourself and knowing that God is telling you these things for you to act up. God will not help you if you don't help yourself. So sometimes you gotta close the door without looking back. Sometimes you gotta make a jump, take a risk, take the next step. You gotta be bold. So, yeah. To be honest, I feel like the best thing would be whoever's watching this. I know that there's something. If you're watching this and you stay until now, there's something vibrating inside of you. There's a fire. If you made it to this 26 minutes and 7 seconds, there's something inside of you that resonates because you are not like the rest. You are different. You're chosen. So listen to your inner gut. Listen to your gut feeling. Trust it. And just move forward. Follow Jesus and He will be on every step of the way with you through every adversity. Amen.